Hi everyone, it's Jan and I am back with another trending techniques video. Burlap is everywhere, and really over the last few weeks I've really seen a lot of these burlap flowers, and I kind of had a hard time finding how to make them, so I thought I would show you what I discovered. The key to making these is working with the Aleene's tacky glue, and I have found working with yardage of burlap. If you want to get like a light color like this, we can stain it up, do whatever with it. But burlap was on sale at my Joann, so I went ahead and got several pieces in various colors that I knew I was going to need. So I'm going to work on the red first. And the very first thing you want to do is you put that selvage, that's that edge that has been kind of sewn so that it won't unravel. And you want to determine how wide you want to make your flower and then double it. When you get you'll see later, we create the loops by folding this over on itself. And so rather than doing this one at a time, I go through and make on my yardage that determination. So I want some fairly small red flowers. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to make, I'm going to pull one of the threads. Now this is a great way to actually cut a straight line with burlap as well. Just take one of the loose threads, get it away from the selvage, leave that other stitching in place, and just I use my little pointy tool there. And once you've got enough that you can hold on to, then you will be able, you can kind of see that it's already starting to give you that line. And this is the way they cut fabric. They cut the burlap at the fabric store because it's the best way to make a straight line. So this is going to give us an indication of our various widths of flower that we are working with. And just take your time. If it breaks, not a problem, just pick up and start. But I pull a little bit and then I go in and slide it down, and eventually it breaks free and you have a really nice straight line. And I do that and I go all the way across each piece of fabric, determining the widths of the flowers that I want. You can see I've done that for all of them here. So again, because I knew I was going to be making lots of these, I'm going to, I just went ahead and made several of them. Now we're going to begin doing a couple of things that will make it easy to make our, to free up the loops. And so I'm going to take my tacky glue, and you really only want to cover about 2 of those vertical threads. And this will keep it from fraying, and it will give you the edge that you need later to work with to put your loops together. So just work your way along there, and you know, it really doesn't take very long. I'm probably being a little bit more precise while I have the video camera on. But one of the things that I did do was I took a popsicle stick and just went back in and kind of spread it to make sure I had covered those 2 threads on either side. So I've done it on the very edge, and now I'm going to go wherever I have one of those threads that I've pulled. I'm going to go through and I'm going to put my tacky glue and use my popsicle stick to make sure I've covered at least 2 of those vertical threads all the way across the length of fabric and all the way down. I have it kind of zoomed in here so that you can see what I'm doing. And you set it aside to dry, and you can see that it's dried clear. But now I can go in and I can start removing the threads in between those 2 bits that I've done. Now, obviously, you don't want to go through and pull the threads right there where you put the tacky glue. That's the whole reason for putting it there. just start next to it, and I just kind of loosen it up and pull the first few threads. And I found that really the first two are probably the most difficult to get started, but then after that it's really pretty simple. And I will tell you, when you pull these, set them aside and keep them, because I found that I use them for a whole lot of other projects, because it's just a really nice rustic twine that you have. Now, you'll probably have more than you could ever use, so I kind of, I don't know, I probably kept about 50 or 60 strands that I pulled, because obviously I was making a lot of these. But as you can see, when you get finished pulling all of those threads, you have the loops. And now, because we left that piece down the center, it's really easy to cut them apart. And I just use my fabric scissors and go down the length of these and separate them. Obviously, you could have done this before, but I just have found through trial and error, you know me, I try it out before I tell you it's the best way to do it. And I found the hard way that if I cut them before I pulled the threads, it was just harder. I was fighting with the fabric. But if you have that wider loop width there, it's easier. So you can see that's what we're going to do. We're going to fold that over, and I've cut them all, and I have lots of different widths in a variety of variety of colors. And once again, I'm going to use my tacky glue. Now, it would be really tempting at this point to get your hot glue gun out and do that, but I will tell you that for flexibility purposes, you really do not want to use your hot glue on this step. Take your time. Eileen's tacky glue really does dry pretty quickly, so put your edges together, and if you need to, just hold them a little bit. It only takes a few seconds for it to get tacky, and just work your way down the length. I was working with about 18 inches. The burlap that I bought in yardage, I think it was about 36 inches wide. So I cut that in half for these, figuring I could get 2 or 3 flowers from them once I got, but this was a little more manageable to work with. So I just went through and did that for all of them, and now we're going to actually make one of our flowers. And now I get my hot glue gun out, and I'm just going to put some glue along that band where the tacky glue kind of defines that edge for us. And these are great for, you can see I'm kind of fluffing it and seeing if it's about the right width that I want. And I go back in and just put the last little touch of hot glue in there, let that cool. But you can see, you just press it down and you have a gorgeous flower. Gorgeous, I tell you, and totally on trend. So I am adding a few little pine cones here, but I'm going to come back in another video and show you all the ideas that I came up with for decorating and dressing up these burlap flowers. They're so fun to make, they're so simple, and there's so many things you can do with them. So I hope you'll come back and join me for that. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe so that you can get my latest videos, and be sure and follow me on Pinterest, Facebook, and Twitter. Thanks, guys, and I hope you're having a great week, and be sure and save some time for creative play.